Revolution is in the air this week, at least it's in a handful of new books set in revolutionary times. 3 founding fathers feature in 2 of our recommended titles: Friends Divided John Adams and Thomas Jefferson, by Gordon S. Wood, and The 3 Lives of James Madison, by Noah Feldman. Russell Shaw too brings to life half a dozen players from the era of American independence in Revolution song, including the first American president. Much has changed since the Washington administration, however. Jeremy Suri argues in The Impossible Presidency that as the nation has grown, the job of leading it may be too unwieldy for one person to manage. Perhaps it's time to overhaul the Oval Office, and not just replace the drapes. Radhika Jones, editorial director. Books: Vivian Maier, A Photographer's Life and Afterlife, by Pamela Bannos. The University of Chicago Press, $35. The photographer Vivian Maier's work was only discovered when more than 100,000 negatives turned up after her death, at 83, in 2009. She was immediately heralded as one of the 20th century's great photographers, but myths built up around her and controversy over the control of her work have kept us from seeing her clear. Pamela Bannos attempts to dislodge the portrayal of Maier as a mysterious, freakish figure. Our critic Parallel Sethigal says she succeeds. The achievement of Bannos' intelligent, irritable, self-reflexive study is in its restraint, Sethigal writes. She unseats the ghost and restores to us the woman. Revolution song: A Story of American Freedom, by Russell Shaw II. Norton, $28.95. George Washington is the hub of Shaw II's book, which artly weaves together the stories of 6 individuals from the Revolutionary period, including a shoemaker, a Seneca chief, a freed slave, and a memoirist who faked her own death, to give a sense of how far-reaching a phenomenon the War of Independence was. Schlesinger the Imperial Historian, by Richard Aldous. Norton, $25.95. Through the middle of the 20th century, the speechwriter and Kennedy aide Arthur M. Schlesinger Jr. could reliably be found at the epicenter of Democratic debate and governance. Now he has found in Aldous an agreeably judicious biographer who gracefully balances an appreciation for his subject's talents as a writer of narratives and speeches with an acknowledgement of his shortcomings as a political analyst and aide. Smile, by Roddy Doyle. Viking, $25. Doyle's 11th novel is the closest thing HES written to a psychological thriller. The protagonist's life goes off track after a stranger from his past shows up, reminding him of the Catholic school days amid signs of a deeper darkness the narrator refuses to confront. The Impossible Presidency: The Rise and Fall of America's Highest Office, by Jeremy Suri. Basic, $32. In this succinct and original volume, a historian traces the changing role of the presidency from Washington onward, arguing that as the job has become increasingly complex, it now involves more than a single person can handle. Scalia Speaks: Reflections on Law, Faith, and Life Well Lived, by Antonin Scalia. Edited by Christopher J. Scalia and Edward Whelan. Crown Forum, $30. This collection of speeches and writings by the famously argumentative Supreme Court Justice, who died in February 2016, offers a clear picture of his originalist interpretation of the Constitution. His words are provocations to argue, disagree, and think. The 3 Lives of James Madison, Genius, Partisan, President, by Noah Feldman. Random House, $35. America's 4th president shifted his political orientation at least 3 times in his life. Feldman marks the changes in his nuanced portrait of the founding father, who effectively mirrored the evolving identity of the American Republic. In its most formative phase. These Possible Lives, by Fleur Yagi. Translated by Mina Zalman Proctor. New Directions, paper, $12.95. A Swiss-Italian writer presents short impressionistic takes on Thomas de Quincey, John Keats, and the French symbolist Marcel Schwab. Brilliant and associative, these biographical essays have the beauty and economy of poems but the souls of portraits. Friends Divided John Adams and Thomas Jefferson, by Gordon S. Wood. Penguin Press, $35. The friendship lasted with interruptions for 51 years, for their meeting at the Continental Congress in 1775 to the deaths on the same day, July 4, 1826. Wood traces the long, fraught ties between the second and third presidents, and sides almost reluctantly with Jefferson in the philosophical smackdown. A version of this list appears in print on November 12, 2017, on page BR 42 of the Sunday Book Review with the headline Staff Picks from the Book Review.